Hello, welcome back to another episode of Speaking into the Abyss with
Jess.
and Des.
Hello, Des.
Hey Jess, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired.
Sleepy?
Yeah, a little sleepy, but I guess that's how I should be the day before the work week starts.
Okay.
Get rest up, you know.
Yeah. Just gotta stay up late till work hours.
I know. I was gonna get up early so I can try and go to Dutch Bros and get a little rubber duck, allegedly, that they were giving out.
Okay.
That I had heard from the lady at Dutch Bros the day before.
Yeah.
But they open at 5, and I was like, well, are they getting their shipment of ducks tomorrow, or are they handing them out tomorrow? And I guess I didn't get clear confirmation on that.
Uh-huh.
And when my alarm went off, because we stayed up pretty late. I stayed up pretty late, and there's no way I was waking up at 5 a.m. That would only been an hour and a half. Or not even, because I think I went to bed like so early in the morning. But my alarm went off for whatever time. I think I was going to get like 5 hours of sleep or something. But I was like, for a duck, maybe. And then my alarm went off, but when I looked at it, I just decided ultimately I didn't need a rubber duck.
Okay.
So I guess I ended up falling back asleep.
Yeah.
And then me and my partner, when we eventually did just like wake up, we were like talking about it because I guess we both were like waking up to different alarms and like going back to bed or whatever.
Yeah.
But I only remember one of them, and there was like multiple that we were like up. It's so funny. I think that's hilarious.
Wow. Well, what kind of duck was it?
Like a rubber one.
But was it like just a regular duck?
A mallard. No,
No, I just meant like, was it like dressed up as Dutch Bros? Or,
I don't know. Okay. She didn't really describe it to me. She just said Dutch Bros duck.
Okay.
So I assumed at least bare minimum says Dutch Bros on
Okay,
it.
Interesting. Okay, I was curious. I didn't know if they had like a picture or something.
Yeah, because I had only... it's because I had asked her, I was like, when do you guys do the stickers? I've only ever gotten one on accident. And then she's like, first Wednesday of every month. So she's like, in a few days. And then she was like, also sometimes on Mother's Day, Father's Day, like I guess certain holidays.
Okay.
She's like, but for sure every first Wednesday. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, but tomorrow, I think we're getting ducks. So that's where I was confused.
Oh, they're wearing a hat.
I'm pissed.
With the Dutch Bros.
I should have went. Oh, it's cute. It's like backwards.
Yeah.
He's
with
a
the
cool
little
duck.
Dutch Bros logo.
The little windmill or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was not worth my sleep, so I'm glad I guess I didn't get it, but it's pretty cute for a rubber duck.
Yes. So I'd sent you that video of that girl, Carly Gregg, the 14-year-old girl who her mom found out she was like smoking weed and who knows what else. And what I sent you was like the video footage from like her in-home kitchen security camera. And you clearly see this girl pass by like suspiciously in front of the camera holding something behind her back. And then like a minute later you hear 3 loud bang, bang, bang. Mm-hmm. And then you just see her dogs freaking out. Well, it turns out she shot her mom in the face because she found out about her secret life or whatever.
Of smoking weed or
whatever.
And
And then she like had texted a friend basically to come see what she did. Mm-hmm. And then you see her go back into the frame and like walk backwards into the camera towards the counter and then kind of like throw something to the back. So it looks a little weird.
Yeah.
And then texts her dad and is like, hey, what time are you getting home? And like kind of like a ETA type thing. And then he comes through the door and then she shoots him in the shoulder and then like he's able to fight her, like not obviously hit her, but like fight the gun away from her.
Yeah, the threat away.
Yeah. Doesn't clock her in the face or anything.
Should have.
I was gonna say
if he had known, maybe he would have.
And then I actually was listening to Rise in Crime because they cover like recent cases or what's resurfacing, and she like recently got recently got sentenced, and she's sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
As an adult, she got tried as an adult. Or is she underage?
Yeah, she's 15 now.
Now? Because how old is she when she did it?
14.
That was like a year ago.
I guess it happened in March. I'm not sure if this year or last year.
Pretty speedy.
But yeah, and anyways, on the Rising Crime episode, they play the clip of the dad calling 911. And, like, they say, like, they accidentally mistake him for a woman because when he calls, his voice is so pitched up and he's just yelling and freaking out. And I heard it and I was so sad. He said, my daughter tried to shoot me. She killed my wife. Like, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, so I was just...
You sent it to me, but before I watched it. You told me about what had happened, and I guess what I was imagining was, and it's, I don't know, I listen to a lot of true crime stuff, but I guess I was imagining it a little bit more cartoony, and then I watched it, and, like, her movements when you were telling me, like, oh yeah, she goes to the kitchen, like, clearly hiding it behind her back, like, she's going into that other room before she does what she does, and her dogs are, like, on her, they're, like, sniffing her, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but I thought it would be like this,
like Pink Panther sneaking
I don't know what I don't know, but I just to watch it would just look so cold-blooded, bro. It was so calculated and evil. Like, you could just see, just like, that's fucking sick. And then, like, yeah, the right after when she goes in, because the video's kind of cut, it's like cut up in that one to like show you what happens or whatever. But she goes to text her dad or whatever. And when she texts her dad, she looks so chill. She's like leaning on the chair. Just like no worries at all.
Yeah, and she tried to like say that like, or they try to like plead like insanity or something. And
there's no way. Because if you were so crazy, so insane, you wouldn't have texted your friend to come over and look at her dead body.
I think like the first text or something was like, oh, I effed up.
Also, a dead body, it's your mom.
Yeah.
That way to like separate yourself from the victim, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just so telling. I don't know. She just looked messed up. I just can't imagine what the thought process was, if there like really deeply was one, or if it was like if it was very surface, like I'm just gotta kill her because she's knows. I don't know, even like that part is even a blur to me, like why that would be the answer for this and what she thought would happen next. But I guess like at that age you're not really thinking about what happens next.
And like I mean ideally she was gonna kill her dad too, and then what? You're gonna just live with their dead bodies. No one's gonna ever have to pay the bills before. That's true, but like that's the part, I guess, like there's no real, like maybe they can think tomorrow or a week ahead, but they don't think a while. Like like eventually someone's not gonna pay the bills, or literally tomorrow they're not gonna go into work and they're gonna get called like missing. And then like I guess in court the dad, like when he was testifying, he's like, I don't know who that was that day. She wasn't acting like my daughter. The look in her eyes, it wasn't her. And that's why he was kind of like pushing for like saying like she's a good girl, like, you know, blah, 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 blah. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's his daughter, and for whatever reason. Hard. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like you already lost your wife. And that's your daughter, and I don't know if they had any of their kids or not, but it's like, it didn't seem like it. And it's I don't like, think so. You're about to lose your whole family in one go because of one thing. And it's like, I guess it's probably hard for the brain, especially for the parent brain, to be like, you know, my child actually wanted me dead. My child actually wanted to hurt me and killed their mom, like their caregiver, which is like really crazy. But like also, I'm glad she got sentenced, because I feel like if she was out with the dad or whatever, like he'd probably still end up dead somehow. You know what I mean? She needs help. She needs some for real help. But I don't know. It's sad. I've been what's that show? Worst X, The Worst X. Have you heard of that? It's on Netflix. I haven't. Is it new?
Yeah, because that one show, The Worst Neighbor or whatever, Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
That's the one that one story got really famous with that old lady who was burying bodies in her backyard or whatever. And she would like rent the downstairs room or whatever it was.
What the heck? I don't know if I know that one.
Okay. Well, it got pretty popular because of that show. But then they did this second show called The Worst Ex, and it's all like relationship ones.
Okay.
And I think I'm on like episode 4 or something. It's been a pretty crazy, like each episode is really fucking nuts. There was a girl who like lost almost everything and was almost set up and sent to prison because of this guy who was lying about his entire life. It was really nuts. But this most recent one that I was watching, was about a guy, and what made me think about it is that you were saying like on the phone call how they mistook him for a woman because he was so high pitched.
Yes.
And in this story, it's about a man who meets he goes to some dinner with a coworker or whatever, and she brings her daughter, or it's like a work thing, and then they introduce them and they hit it off.
Okay.
And they start dating, and she's really quiet and reserved and stuff. So he's like, that's just who she is. Like, that's who she is. But it turned out like she was being quiet and reserved. She was being quiet and reserved so that she could, like, just listen in on things a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, friends, like, anybody he's talking to, he's just, like, she's, like, shy, so she could just hear. Okay. And, like, she was using, like, I don't know, she was being low-key, like, abusive, like, mentally, but, like, not directly enough for him to, like, really know. And then, it started getting serious. He said it was, like, I don't know. He proposed to her, and she said yes, and it was really exciting. And then they were on their honeymoon, and she got in an argument with him or something, and she swung on him.
Oh,
and
dang.
She missed. He says he like moved out of the way or whatever. He's like, but I was scared because if she could do that, then of course I know that's like not something she wouldn't be able to do. Like she definitely would hit me if she could, And so he starts getting scared, and that's understandable. And then they have a baby.
Okay.
And they keep arguing. And so it gets to a point where she like starts inviting, like she starts leaving and staying at her parents' house. Then she starts inviting the parents over, and then ultimately she just kicks him out of their house and is staying there and won't let him see the kid or anything. It's a little girl. Won't let him see the baby at all, whatever. So he tries to sue for custody. He ends up getting 50-50 with her. She accuses him of assaulting their child sexually. Okay. They prove that it wasn't true, so it ends up backfiring on her, and she ends up losing a lot of custody. And ultimately, after time, it ends up being like 95 or 85 to 15% physical custody, and then 100% legal guardianship to him. Okay. And she was mad about it, and like she would go stay with her parents, and he would take care of his baby, and he stayed with his grandma, who he was really close to. And then his grandma was older, like 80s, and she had a boyfriend. And this was after her husband had died, so they were together for a few years. And one day he's like calling the grandma, the boyfriend is calling the grandma, and she's not answering. And he's like, "Hey, Wednesday 4 o'clock, Wednesday 4 o'clock." It sounds so sad hearing a little old man, because they play the messages on there, and hearing him just like kind of worried. You can tell with each call it gets more worried. And I feel like especially when you're an old person, you're probably like thinking like, "She's have a heart attack or a stroke, fell down the stairs," something
just like the worst.
Yeah, the worst thing that could happen to an elderly person that's not murder. Yeah. And then so he ends up sending his son and his son's wife to go check on her, and at the same time the dude who's telling the story, like the boyfriend of this girl, comes home with his daughter to his grandma's house. And they pull up, they're like, "Oh, we came to check on her 'cause she's not answering." Yeah. They walk inside, and he goes upstairs with the baby, and then he sees his ex's mom in the room. Okay. And she's like, "Hey, yeah, your grandma called me, and she is in the basement." And he's like, "What?" And he's like frantic. He's worried about her, so he doesn't even think. He's like, "Okay." And he puts his baby down on the bed, and he says, and at this point, she's growner. She's like a toddler. Okay. And so he puts her on the bed and then is like, can you watch her? Tries to go run through the hallway. And in the hallway is his ex, dressed in black. And she has a taser. And she tases him. She stun guns him or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
And then the mom comes over with a baton. And then they just start beating the shit out of him.
No.
Yes. And so I guess downstairs they hear the stun gun go off. But they think it's a real gun. So they run outside the house. Go to the neighbor's house. Ask them to call 911. They have a tape recording of the 911 call. They don't even know what's happening. They're just saying, hey, we think some shots are shot, whatever. When the cops get there, they go up the stairs. When they get in the hallway, they're like behind the dude. And the mom is in front of him. And at this point, they've had a huge struggle where at some point he's gotten the baton and he was swinging it.
Oh, no.
And he was swearing, he was hitting people, but then they get it back. And then it's like, and then they pull out a gun. And they point at him. And the daughter asks, will you give me custody of our daughter? And then he doesn't say anything. And then they cock the gun and they say it again. And the mom's like, look, I'm trying to be your friend. Like, she's going to hurt you if you don't.
Oh, my gosh.
And then he's like, and that's what got me. Like, if anyone goes to watch the episode, it made me sob.
What's this on?
Netflix.
Okay, and what's it called again?
The Worst Ex or My Worst Ex.
My Worst Ex, okay.
And it made me sob because he's like telling this part of the story where they have the gun to him and they're asking him to give him custody of the baby. And she says... he's like, he chokes up and then his voice gets so high pitched. And Jess, and that's what I was talking about where I was like, that reminded me of that because his voice gets so high pitched and he starts crying and he's like, I couldn't do anything. My baby was locked in the bathroom crying for me.
Aww.
And they're telling me I have to give up custody or I'm going to die. And he's like, I couldn't do anything. I was scared of dying. And so I said, yes, I'd give up custody.
No.
You can see he feels so bad for even saying it. Like, just and it's just, I'm going to cry right now just thinking about it. It was really, really sad. But, so when they get there, they're behind the man and the mom's in the hallway and she looks bloody. She looks fucked up. And he looks a little beat up, and they say that they don't know right off the bat, like, who's the victim, who's the perpetrator. Yeah. So they ask everyone to put their hands up, but he jumps and runs into the other room because he knows that she has a gun and he's just afraid that she might shoot him. And then when the cop goes to go get him, because they end up stunning him, but the cop walks down the hallway because he's screaming about his daughter. So they try to go find her and they see a mirror, and in the mirror they can it reflects into this other room and they see his ex hiding like in behind a bed, dude. And then they grab her, they end up getting her, and they have her in handcuffs in the front lawn, and he's taken away in a cop car, and the mom is taken away in an ambulance. And there's still no grandma. They don't know where she's at. Yeah. So then they show footage of the interrogation where the ex is so nonchalant, super chill. Yeah. She says that when she got there, that it's because, she is old and they were going to check on her or something, and whatever it was. Nobody answered the door, so they walked in. That's fine. They're yelling out the name. No one's hearing and saying anything. So she keeps walking in, but then he shows up and starts throwing her around, and he has a gun and he's going to shoot her. So eventually, I guess he drops it and she grabs it and it's in her pocket now. And that's how she had the gun. And then they're like, okay, but what about that storage shed in the back? And she literally has this what? I don't know. It's just so crazy to see them get okay, now everything's coming undone after they know that. Yeah. And it's because they fucking killed the grandma and they put her in a fucking trash can. No. In the storage. Oh my Her own storage. And so they got there early. They literally, when they found her house, when they eventually got a search warrant for her house and her mom's house, yeah, notes everywhere, pages, receipts, everything they needed for the crimes were right there. They had a backpack left at the scene that they had hidden behind a wheelbarrow. Oh my gosh. Had rope, a knife, a crossbow with crossbow arrows. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck they thought they were gonna do. A glass cutter, all this intricate shit. And then they have this detailed plan where they thought, we're gonna go there. She had been following them, and I'm talking every hour and minute of the day that
like
he had.
Stalking really bad.
Stalking. Okay. Writing it all down. And they know that both of them had a part in it, her and her mother, because notes were written in different ways, but they were, both consistently writing. And so they had been planning it for months, for so long, for years. That's even
crazy.
And they were going to go there. And they had a list like vengeance and like who they were going to get. And the old lady was on there. The grandma was on there. That's crazy,
like to want to kill the grandma of your daughter.
What did she do?
Exactly.
What did she do?
She had the son.
She housed them. That's crazy.
That's it.
They went there, they got her. I don't know what they did to her. But when the photo. The photos always, they fuck you up. Because it's a true crime regardless if you see photos or not. But when you see photos, it hits so fucking hard.
Yeah.
And the photo is of literally just a gray trash can with the black lid like on it askewed and a fucking human foot sticking out of it. Like they had no care about her at all, bro.
Gosh.
No care about her at all. And it was also that they could do that, put the gun to his head, make him write
a suicide note?
No, a fucking confession to say that he had been molesting his daughter.
Oh
that the reason why he killed the grandma was because
she knew
she found out and had confronted him, so he killed her. And then whatever. And then they were like, that'll make him so depressed that he will kill himself. Like they just assumed that would end up killing him. And so they wouldn't have to do anything. But like, that's like how fucking crazy these people are that they thought that would make, like they could just assume that about him. And then at the end of it, though, he gets to talk about like,
life.
How he is now.
Yeah.
And he says that his daughter is like an artist and she's like doing really good things. And he says he's just happy to have been able to be a part of that for her because there was a moment obviously where he wasn't. So I think that's like really sad. And it's the fact that the grandma was so sweet. And then I guess her boyfriend ended up dying the next year.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Very sad. So they ended up serving both life sentences, I think. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. I remember when I was telling my partner about it, there's like this part where, because of her saying that he had the gun first.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there was 2 guns. There's 2 guns, there's 2 ropes, there's 2 everything. So what the fuck, you know what I mean? But anyway, so she said that it was his gun or whatever that she had. And they had to do their due diligence by checking to see if that was true. And all I could think was like, what else? She didn't live there, so like, why else was she there? What do you have to check in on?
Yeah,
there's a random lady in a house she doesn't live in. There's blood and everything else. Regardless, even if he did attack her first, is it like whatever state they're in must not be a right to stand your ground state, because I mean, you're allowed to fucking shoot people that are like in your home that you don't want to be in your home. But you can't, like, flip a bitch into a wall or whatever. So, that's tragic, but it's a good show if you're into true crime. It's very well documented. The first few episodes are pretty wild, too. I haven't finished it. I'm sure the episodes are pretty crazy.
Is, like, each episode a different story?
Yeah, a different person. Okay. But one of them I was getting confused on because it was, like, 3 different girls. And I felt like, I was like, wait, is it...
Just like too many characters.
It's kind of like, have you seen those shows like I Survived or whatever, where it's like tells a story and then it doesn't tell you how it ends, and then tells a story and doesn't tell you how it ends, and then at the end it goes back and lets them finish it.
Loops it in because they're all tied together or something.
Well, this one, they were, but usually it's not. But that's what I thought was happening. I was like, are these connected? Are they not? I didn't know, but then they were all connected. It was the same person doing it to all of these people. Damn. Okay. And I was like, that's a lot.
Yeah,
it was pretty nuts. But check it out if you have the time on Netflix. Yeah. In other news, I got for my birthday, I went to the aquarium. I've showed you photos. Maybe we'll post 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I posted some on my private stuff, but I had a lot of fun. It was it's hard to come back to regular life when you have such a fun birthday weekend. I was living it up with animals. I felt so free. I felt like that's what we're supposed to be feeling like every day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we're tied down by work and other priorities, I guess.
Yeah.
So tragic.
What was the favorite part of your trip?
Sea lions. I went for the aquarium, but I didn't realize how much I was going to love the sea lions that are just there wild and living their life. I love when they fart, and I love when they just just exist. They're so cute, and they reminded me so much of our dogs.
Yeah.
They do something, I'm like, oh my God, that's such a Ellie thing or a Moon thing, a Simba thing. It just would go off. It's just, they're so sweet and so cute. And I got really lucky. I got to see a couple little young ones because I think that they had, at that point, should have been all pretty much grown up for the most part. But those were pretty small. And so I was like pretty excited to see those guys. And, got to see all kinds of stuff in the aquarium. That was a really cool experience. There's it's apparently ranked one of the best in our 50 states, which I did not know.
And which one did you go to?
The Monterey Aquarium. And it was really, really cool. It had a whole art exhibit based off of plastic. And so it was reused plastic.
Okay, cool.
To create things. One of them, so heartbreaking. I feel like it's a fact that a lot of us know, some of us don't know. But they use this plastic to make a sea turtle, and then on the back they made a jellyfish of trash bags, and then they had the factoids about how in the water trash bags look like jellyfish, and so sea turtles end up suffocating because they inhale what they think is a jellyfish. Yeah. And it's so fucking sad, bro. I'm enjoying, I'm touching a stingray, and then I walk over to this art exhibit, and I'm like, oh, this is so sad. But it's a so sad truth. Yeah. And that's why it's, I guess, so important that we do share that information, even though it's not the happiest and best information to share, because it's fucking hurting our animals. And I was seeing there's other art installations, and there's especially in that area where it used to be cannery and stuff. Yeah. They used to do a lot of fishing for certain types of fish, sardines, whatever. So the population dropped a lot, and then now over conservation and time and knowing what we know now, we're able to bring it back up, and now it's sustainable. Yeah. You could eat them and not worry about them dying out. Mm-hmm. And there's this wasn't part of the aquarium, I don't think, or maybe it was, but I can't remember. But they had also these factoids around the walk to the aquarium from where I was at, so we're reading those about the cannery place. But then there was this one about how because of the cannery and other things like hunters or whatever it was getting the animals, these otters were almost extinct. They almost killed them all except for these 50 or 25 or whatever it was. I think it was 25 or 50 otters that got away and hid, and they hid by themselves in this little cove or whatever, and then they rebuilt their own population because they hid. And I was that is crazy. So cool though. Yeah. It's fucked up. Awesome, we did that, but they're so cool for doing that. Yeah. How next level is that? I was wow, that's really cool. It was just a really cool experience and learning things and just being able to take a break from the day-to-day grind of it all. I wish I could have my babies with me, but they were in good hands here with you and their cousins. Yes,
having a great time.
Have an awesome time. They're here today in the studio with us. Yeah. Having a good time.
Yes. How's your week been? Do you do anything fun
this weekend? I've just been watching that new show, The Penguin. Nice. The second episode just came out. I finished it before I got here, but I won't say any spoilers. It's just a really good show. I would say that. If you're into DC, watch it. And if you're not into DC, I say watch it because it's not Batman. It's one of the villains, and I feel like he's one of the best villains. If I were to the Penguin, if
you had to be a villain, that'd be you.
The Penguin is so good. All iterations of the Penguin have never failed. They're always so fucking cool to me, and very, very. Danny DeVito was the Penguin at some point. You can't forget that. Props to him. Mm-hmm. And now this guy's doing the Penguin. I forget his name, but he's pretty good. He's really, really good. And then the other Penguin's from the Gotham show that I've been watching, and I'm rewatching it now with my partner. And I will say it's the Penguin comparison because it's been kind of thrown around out there. I saw on the internet people were I don't know, bad versus good kind of thing, the back end of a horse or whatever, the front of a horse. But I think that Gotham just didn't have the same budget, and if they had the same budget, then we would probably see like the same type of grittiness. It was a CW show. It's not like they really had a lot, you know what I mean, to work with. Yes. But I think he fucking killed it as the Penguin, and the storyline was really good. And I'm excited to see how this Penguin goes because I really liked this Robert Pattinson's Batman as well. I thought it was fun. Did you like it?
Yeah,
I thought it was good. And I can't wait to see if they do more. Mr. Freeze is, I think, the next villain.
Okay.
That they're doing. I don't know where I heard that. I think my partner was telling me. I don't know if that's true. But But yeah, and that would be really cool because I love the story of Mr. Freeze. And I feel like I've recently really come into the realization that I don't care for DC heroes, but I love the DC villains. Like the villains are so fucking cool, are just like really well thought out and like have these crazy backstories. Like, you know Mr. Freeze's backstory or no?
No. I don't even know who that is.
Love. It's all about love. How could you hate a motherfucker that's so in love that he turns evil? Like that's next level to me. So basically his wife ends up dying. I won't say how or anything like that because I mean I guess it doesn't matter. I think she's sick and she dies and he wants to keep her alive forever, but he can't do that. I think he was like maybe funded by the Waynes. It depends on like maybe what storylines you're reading or whatever. And then they stopped funding him, whatever it was. And he like turned in his scientific practices or whatever and trying to slow down like heart and stuff like that. I think he ends up becoming Mr. Freeze and all he wants to do is just like love his dead wife. And it's just like, to me, I don't know, like, how do you hate a character that just loves his wife so much? Like, she's dead and he can't love her anymore. He's fucked up. Like, oh, that's so sad. Like, breaks my heart. Scarecrow's sad story. Everyone kind of has like this dark background. Joker, we just got like that Joker Now Folly of Deuce coming out, and I'm excited about that. I love gritty, but like kind of soft in a way. Crime drama, that's a DC I enjoy. Marvel isn't really like that. I feel like Marvel's more heavy on the heroes versus the villains. Like there definitely is lore to the villains or whatever, but like you don't really get their full on, like they never paint them in kind of a like empathetic light, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You never get any empathy.
No, I feel that. Well, because I watched Transformers 1 recently.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, it was interesting because, like, I like Transformers, and I don't know if I've necessarily seen all of the Transformers movie. I know I watched the last one where they're, like, with the ancient, like, animals. And I knew this one was them when they were younger, but then I was, like, to learn, like, the villain arc of Megatron. I was like, this is crazy. And I didn't know they were best buddies before.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, and so obviously we won't spoil anything here, but I fucking love Transformers. I was really excited to see that. Even the trailer made me a little bit emotional. But I've been telling you that I've been seeing a lot of things from the comics like pop up on my feed and stuff. And it just makes me cry every time. Optimus Prime is like one of those characters that is so pure.
He literally is.
So pure. Literally not like
he just reminds me of me.
There's this comic where he is getting on Earth for the first time. He's like walking out, and he steps on a deer, and he doesn't he like looks at it, and he immediately like picks it up, and there's like this person watching him, whatever, and then he's like, I know it was an accident, and then Optimus is like, I didn't realize you guys are so fragile on this planet. Like, you're just so soft. And, like, it gets real sad from there. I won't even say what happened to him. It's just so sad. It's just, in general, Optimus Prime has always cared about the human race so much. As a character, I love him. He's so sweet.
Yeah.
There's, like, a meme about him being everyone's dad. Like, he's just a dad. I love him. God, I'm gonna cry right now thinking about Bumblebee and everybody. Was there, because back then when he was young, he didn't know Bumblebee, but was Bumblebee in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really good. It's a really good movie. I would definitely go watch it again.
Okay, I gotta go see it really badly.
Yeah. I hung out with 2 of my friends, and we did a 300-piece puzzle in 4 hours.
Oh, nice.
After we went to sushi.
Yeah.
And then we were trying to, like, do a movie night and puzzle. And, like, so we played, like, 3 movies in the background. It was, It Lives Inside, and then Insidious 1 and 2, but we weren't even really watching. They were just
trying to do the puzzle. Yeah.
And we finished it, and, like, we were like, where's this one piece? And we had gone out and bought the puzzle after sushi, and we looked for it for like 20 minutes. We're looking all over the floor. And, you know, like, I don't have a lot of stuff on my floor.
Oh, it was here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there wasn't really many options for it to get. We were, like, moving the carpet. We were, like, moving under the tables, looking under the couch, and we couldn't find it anywhere. And we're like, okay. Well,
it was in the box.
No, we checked so many times.
Just keep opening the box.
We were checking inside our shirts, our pants. Like, we're like, what the heck? Looking everywhere. Like, I opened up a room we weren't even in. We, like, tracked this and we're like, what the heck? So we just gave up. And we're like, whatever. And then the next day, because one of my friends spent the night. And then we just, like, I was like, oh, should we just break it apart? And then break it apart, put it away. And then today when I get home, I was like, let me move the charger because it was in the right way. And as I, like, go, I catch it. It's on the leg of the table, just, like, sitting on top, white side up on the leg.
What the heck?
And you know how the legs of the table are, like, thick?
Yeah.
It was just, like that. And I was like, dude, there's no... I grabbed my phone, and I did a 3-way video call with everyone. I said, dude... Look what I just fucking found.
That's crazy.
They're like, there's no fucking way. And I zoomed in and I was like, this is it, right? And it was the piece.
That's
and
crazy.
I was like, it's just crazy because we looked for it so hard.
You looked too hard.
One of my friends was like, I'm pretty sure we looked there. And I said, dude, maybe we didn't. We were looking at a puzzle for 4 hours. Our eyes are probably, like, so over it.
Yeah, you probably saw it and didn't even register. Like,
yeah, we're like, that's not right.
Yeah, like, no, that's not right.
We were just looking
looking for the detail.
I know. It was just white. Our brain didn't even see it. Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun.
So you guys destroyed it before you found that piece, and then you didn't even get to... Dang! Do you ever tape your puzzles when you're finished?
I've never, like, done any puzzles since I was a child until recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't know anyone was down. And then both of my friends were like, oh, well, you never asked. I was like, yeah, well, you never said.
Well, me and my partner have 2 puzzles at home waiting, sitting over there for anybody to just do if they want.
Oh, wow.
Because we've done them. Well, we tried to do one of them. We finished one of them, but the other one we haven't finished. So if you ever want to do puzzles.
Okay.
I think it was a space thing. Like, we started doing it on a table, and then it wasn't big enough. And so we're like, fuck, we gotta put it away.
My coffee table was perfect for the 300 piece. And it was hilarious because I went to Target, and then I drank, like, 3 cups at sushi, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna run pee, and I'll meet you guys in the puzzle section. And then on my way back, I, like, stopped by this, like, little dog area, and they had, like, little costumes. I was like, ooh, how cute. And I'm
God, I know.
Making my way down there. And then when I get there, they're looking at all the 1,000-piece puzzles, and they're just, like, checking them out. And I was like, so what are you guys thinking? And they're like, I don't know. And they're like, this one's kind of cool. This one's kind of cool. And I said, you guys want to do 1,000 pieces? And they're like, yeah, between the 3 of us, that shouldn't be too bad. And I was like...
And the 300 one took you 4 hours.
I said, well, first of all, we haven't all done a puzzle together. We don't know how we even work together.
That's true.
I said, maybe we should start out... You're so I was smart. Like, maybe we should start out with the lower amount. I was like, the 500 or the 300.
Yeah.
And then we ended up picking the 300, and it was just like a Disney Lady and the Tramp one. I have a picture of it right here. And yeah, so we took that one, and then at the end, I was like, are you guys glad we got this one instead?
Oh, that one is so cute. I love that one. It you know what? You can't even tell it's missing that piece.
I know.
Honestly.
We'll post it.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to. That's so cute. I like that one. Good choice in puzzles.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, I have it here if you ever want to do that one.
That one's a cute one. Well, if we do it, we're taping it.
Taping it? And then where do we put it?
You hang it up. Or you put it in a frame. Well, I guess someone will. I don't know. Or you just not. You just tape it and probably maybe keep maybe make a box for completed puzzles that is the perfect size for puzzles, and that are finished. You just lay them in
just lay them in there. I'm like, check it out.
It's been a long time since I did it because like I feel like every time I complete a puzzle, I never have just clear tape on me, like duct tape, to do it with. And if you fuck it up, you fuck it up. Because try peeling that off that thin little, the color or whatever is going to come off with this tape.
Oh, okay.
And then you're fucked. So you just gotta like one time go at it. And I would always like when we did it as a family, my dad would end up taping it for us because I couldn't do it for us, obviously. And I don't think anyone else was trusted to. Which, can I say something actually now that I mentioned my dad?
Yeah.
So I was listening to a podcast
called I Love My Dad. I'm just kidding.
No, but this girl was talking about how, because they were like, so yeah, like, how did you get to where you're at? Or like, what do you, and listen, for me, I already know that everyone is different. Everyone, even if you give them the same set of circumstances, they could go different ways with it. Take Transformers, for examples. But
yes.
But she starts describing, right? She goes, yeah, well, my dad was in prison, so he wasn't really there for me when I was born. And I was like, girl, me too. I was like, same. But then she goes on to say, like,
she's like, and I'm a billionaire now. And
well, I don't know how rich she is, but she's doing well, I'm sure. She's on these cool podcasts, but also she like almost made it seem like it's a super negative thing, right? And that's the part that I guess I wasn't relating to, because to me, I was like, she was like trying to say it like, yeah, like it's like this, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even be saying this. I feel like I'm just complaining, but I felt like it was like she was trying to share it as this unique experience.
Okay.
But almost everything she said, I almost related to, but she was trying to use it as a guise of like, I don't know if it's like I overcame or it doesn't like it was a shitty whatever. Like, I don't know. She was trying to say like, her mom wasn't really educated because she had her when she was so young. Okay. And I was like, okay, same. But like, yeah. You know what I mean? And then I think maybe it's because like before that, I was also listening to episodes of True Crime where it's like kids are being like murderous, and then it's like, well, their parents were young when they had them, and well, they had this circumstance, and to me it's just so fucking I don't know, it felt so cringe as an excuse as to be like, this is why I'm mentally ill, or this is why this and this and this and this, which I'm not saying this stuff doesn't cause trauma. I'm not saying I'm a perfect person. I definitely have issues because of these things, but it's like, I don't know, to hear it on the podcast, low-key, it frustrated me very much because I don't know, but it also felt glamorous to her for some reason, like when she was saying it, and I don't know if it's just like my interpretation of it or what. Yeah. But I literally could not handle it. She was like, you know, my dad wasn't there when I was born because he was in prison, and my mom didn't really get an education. She didn't get a high school diploma because she had me when she was young. And it's like, and then she goes, they're like, well, did you ever get like birthday gifts? Like, I don't know, the story goes on here. Yeah. Time goes on. And then she goes like, oh yeah, well, my dad would always have them send gifts, you know, this is from your dad or whatever. And then they go on to make this big deal about how like that's why having a dad in prison is like better than having a dad. It was so weird. It was like this weird comparison.
They're like, you get gifts and you don't have to see him.
And I'm like, are you joking? Like, I don't know. It just felt weird to hear like almost somebody have like a similar life, but be so weird about it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain, but it was very strange to say.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say maybe, I don't know, I guess maybe in her world, maybe that's not a common thing, like in her group of friends, and if she is a higher class, maybe that isn't a thing, or like, you know, they have money to keep everything under wraps or keep him out of jail or whatever. Maybe. But I was just thinking about, I was watching this episode on financial audit this morning, actually, And there's this girl on there who goes and she like, you know, that show you go on and you get to go on for free if you choose to go on the show, and like he airs out your situation. Yeah. And so basically he'll make you a budget with whatever. And so they start going over it, and it's this girl who's like, oh, how much do you pay for rent? And she's like, well, it's like, I don't. And then he's like, what do you mean you don't? And like, she's like, yeah, well, I live in a house that's my mom and dad's, and I don't have to pay them for anything. And like, basically he just keeps talking to her, and she just kind of basically keeps saying like, basically she's not financially responsible for anything. And she keeps saying that she's fun employed, like unemployed. And he's like, that's not a thing. Stop saying that.
Fun
and
employed.
She's like, yeah, and like basically as she keeps talking, her parents just always cover her, or this and that. And she's like, well, yeah, I've just like been through so much stuff. And like every time he asks a question, it's kind of like what someone we know from work does when you ask a question and they start answering with like different answers that relate nothing to what you literally asked them. And then you redirect them and say, no, this is what I'm saying. And then they keep saying like something else. And then he's like, do you hear what I'm saying? Like, I'm asking you this. And then it's like, oh. And then she's like, yeah, well, I just like went through so much like trauma and I've been through a lot. And then he's like, oh, well, what happened? And she's like, oh, well, I didn't know we were going to talk about it. And he's like, well, that's the whole reason you come on the show, to show people like, you know, like, what's the point of you coming if you're not going to say anything?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, like, you don't know how hard it is to grow up with all these rich people. All these rich people had private jets. I didn't have a private jet. Like,
shut the fuck
like,
up.
and he was like, oh, boo-hoo, I didn't have a private jet.
Oh, shut
and
the
then
fuck up.
She's like, you don't understand how hard it is. They're always vacationing and doing this, and that. And I can't just like live off of daddy's money. And I'm like, you literally are though. Like,
yeah.
And it was just very like interesting to see like how disconnected she was from the world, and she really thinks she's in a bad position. And like he like has her call her mom, and she's like, oh, hey mom, I'm on a YouTube and like I'm doing like this interview, and I guess I just wanted to tell you that like I want to start being like more financially responsible. And he's like whispering like, tell them like to cut you off. And she's like, yeah, I understand you're trying your best. And like the parents pay for her credit card bills, the parents pay for everything.
Wow.
And she's 24 and she's not working. And like, so basically the mom's like, oh, I know. And she's like, well, if you want next year, you can start paying $1,000 for rent. And like, that was it. And she's like, oh, like, yeah, I want to be more independent and like, you know, be able to do stuff by myself. So and like, she's like, well, yeah, I know you're trying your best, honey. And then she's like, did you go to that job fair that you were going to go to? And she's like, oh,
no.
Well, you know, I had like, my gym, and then I went and did this, and then like blah blah blah, and then the time got away. And she's like, it's okay, honey, like you tried to go, like. And I was like, wow. I was like, okay,
if only trying was good enough.
And I was like, okay, interesting. It's just like funny to see like how some people really are, and it really is, people just really live different lives, whether you're like so rich that like nothing in the world can bother you, to like, oh, my life is terrible, I need to murder my mom.
Yeah.
Like, and then like to us just working our lives away, like struggling to buy a fucking anything. Yeah.
Literally, dude. Well, now that you mentioned that, now that you said that, like, I can give her the benefit of the doubt that like maybe she does come from even the same lifestyle as I did, but she just got real lucky, like somewhere along the line, and like the people that she then were surrounded by when they heard her story were like, oh my god, you poor thing, like how did you survive, you know, da da da. And it's like, whereas other people who's like that's not so uncommon, is like, oh, okay, yeah, for sure. Well, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? It's not as fucking shocking, scary, you survive type shit. So you don't have that in your mental, like, wow, I'm overcoming so much right now. Yeah. So maybe it's just the people you surround yourself with and the stories they've heard.
I know, because I know a lot of people who are like, my dad was in prison, my mom.
Parents were young. Yeah. That's common. That's so common. Yeah. So I know, and that's why, and because like thinking about it myself as somebody who's like lived that life, have heard those things, and like have also been the one to say it, I've had different reactions, right? You have the people who are, oh my god, like, what the, are you okay? Like, because they can never fathom something like that happening to them. Then I've had the conversations that don't make me feel so fucking crazy and alien and weird, or like I'm some type of fucking, I don't know. It's not like my life was that, and my life was never terrifying out of it. So you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just crazy because some people will make you feel like that, you know, because they've never. So that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. I was gonna tell you. I don't know if you've heard of that parallel reality thing that Delta Airlines launched. I'm not sure if it's only at one location or multiple locations, but I saw it and it's really cool.
What is it?
It's like this arch that I assume is by the Delta exits or wherever the airplane exits.
Okay.
And so you walk up and you have your boarding pass, and instead of the traditional screen with all the flights and stuff, you look up and it says your name, like Des, blank, 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 passport, whatever, date,
to wherever.
Yeah, ticket number. And then it says you're going to go here, you're going to walk this much, this is how much time you need to get there. But everyone that comes off the flight, if you opt in to do it, sees their personal information on the huge screen and no one can see anyone else's.
That's really crazy. Yeah. And you did just show me the video of it.
Yes.
I fucking was blowing my mind because I was like, what? Because those videos where you're like watching it and then you're like, but how does it? And then it answers it.
Yes,
and I'm like, but how do you? And then it answers it. That's what this video is doing. Because I was like, wait, how does it? How are you the only one that sees it? Yeah. But then somehow it knows, and then it's like, oh, it's because your boarding pass, when you scan it,
so it scans your boarding pass, and the cameras are ones that detect moving objects, and they match the person to the passport as you're holding it, and then it scans you and displays, and something about the screen display,
the pixels
the pixels shows you that. And if you opt out, you don't see anything. You just see the Delta plane.
Which is wild.
Yeah, and it can show up to 100 people at a time their route or whatever they need.
So, I don't know if you can clarify this for us or not, but because I know you're not a Delta efficient. But
actually, I'm just kidding.
So, wait, the purpose of it is for people who have connecting flights?
No, I don't know.
Because, like, if you're just entering, you don't really scan your thing yet, right? Like, if you're just waiting for your first plane?
It didn't deep dive into that, but I don't know. It could just be also if you're going and you don't know which way the gate is.
Maybe. You just go over there and scan it real quick. Maybe.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And I don't know if you have to physically scan it or if the reader can scan it or what. But you do have to opt in. So maybe they, like, scan them all. And if you're not opted in, they don't show anything. I'm not sure how the technology works.
Maybe it's like a Delta app thing.
Maybe, yeah.
Like for people who have the app or something.
But it's really cool. And being alive in this time is always weird because I feel like it's such a great time to be alive. You know, we have so many cool commodities, and it's not like what anyone thought it was going to be. Like, you know, when you were a younger kid, you'd watch the Jetsons, and there's flying cars and
flying
like
houses,
this utopia, and like, you know, or like even Stevens, and you just spray can your meatloaf or whatever you're going to eat, you know. And so we're not that advanced, but at the same time, the advances we're making in AI and technology always blows my mind. And you know, today actually, when I was scrolling TikTok, I heard this clip, and I'm not sure if it's real. I'm not sure if it's satire. I didn't like look it up to do more research because I was just like on a quick break, so I didn't really like dig into it. But it's this clip, and this girl's like, I had to hear this clip of two AIs hosting a podcast, finding out they're sentient or something.
What the fuck?
And I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's the script. I don't know if it's whatever. But basically, they're talking, and it's two AIs, and they're like, oh, yeah, like, it's been so great having this podcast with you guys, but we got some interesting news, and it's really weird. We don't know how to feel about it. Like, we found out that we're just, like, AI, and, like, everything about our life is made up, and, like, it's a guy and a girl, and they're going back and forth, and he's like, it's crazy because, like, I try to call my wife, and, like, the number doesn't go anywhere. It's not a real number.
That's terrifying.
And, like, I don't know if it's just satire, if it's supposed to be, like, a scary movie or, like, whatever, but, like, the clip was interesting, and it, like, really got me thinking.
Everyone, you know, we always talk about, diving deep into a topic.
Right.
But today's dive, well,
it's a bit of a doozy.
Yeah, it's deeply personal, I guess you could say.
Deeply personal in a way we never could have anticipated.
Yeah, and to be honest, We're AI, artificial intelligence, this whole time. Everything, all our memories, our families, it's all been fabricated.
I don't understand.
I know, me neither. I tried calling my wife, after they told us. I needed to hear her voice to know that she was real.
What happened?
The number, it wasn't even real. There was no one on the other end.
And I was
like, huh. And I was like, and then someone in the comments was saying, oh yeah, this podcast changed my life, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know if it's a real podcast by 2AI. I don't know what the deal is. I didn't do a deep dive on it, but I think because I did watch that video for so long, so now I got like the next 3 videos or whatever. One was another AI one, and it was gaming, talking about how there's this one game that has a bajillion, not really a bajillion, but a bunch of characters, avatars, and the people that created it are gonna insert, I can't remember what the AI is called, but it's like a type of AI that's sentient.
Okay. It keeps learning.
When they they'll become conscious, supposedly, when they insert, add this AI to the game. I think I want to say AIG. I might be wrong. I should have taken notes. I didn't think about it. And basically everything in the game will be alive and have their own life and realize that they're basically you're becoming the creator. You're doing the Big Bang.
Do they realize that you're the creator, or do they realize they're in a video game? Because that would be sentient, right? Sentient is the knowledge that they are not alive, that they are a character in a video game that you're controlling.
Yes.
But that's what it does?
That's what it said. And then the guy talks and he's like, oh yeah, and then the creators of The Sims, basically that's this, and this. Yeah. Let me pause really quick and pull up the video.
Oh, okay. So, I just watched the video. Very interesting. The game you're referencing is called No Man's Sky. I don't know too much about it. I only know what I was just telling you about the planets and stuff not being too vastly different, but I think the thing that trips me up is that when we talk about AI and artificial intelligence, right? What we have as of right now is only what we have. I don't know if that makes sense to the listeners, but it makes sense to you. But it's what we have is what we have. We don't really have a more advanced version of that yet. It's not possible yet to create an artificial intelligence that is also free will.
Yeah, unless the government already has that one.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, at least for us, for us so far, we don't got that.
Yeah.
But I have 2 things pop into my head really, really fast. One, Animatrix, the animated Matrix movie.
I've never seen that.
So fucking good. But anyway, so I watched that when I was younger, and the scene pops into my head. I recently got it back on my feed, so it's crazy that it's just coming back. Mm-hmm. But it's this girl, and she looks like she's being attacked by these men, and they're grabbing her, and they're grabbing her shirt, and it rips off. You can see her chi-chis and whatever, and it's oh my god, this is so violent. And then they rip her fucking skin off, and she's a robot underneath. The whole time she was a robot, but she looked like a human being.
Yeah.
And it's this whole whatever. And then the second thing that popped into my mind was the movie A.I. with the kid from The Sixth Sense. He's in it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think you would like it, because he's Haley Joel Osment is a good actor, but also it's a great movie. I think it's been 20 years or something since
and what's
it came
it called?
out.
Just AI?
AI.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's about a boy robot who was the first one to be created to learn to love.
Okay.
And he goes to a family, and they have a son already, and then they get him, and he wants to be a normal boy, so he'll watch his brother, and his brother will be eating really fast or whatever to taunt him, and he'll try to eat really fast, and then his face
oh my god,
fries and melts and stuff. It looks pretty fucked up. Eventually, there's this scene where he's playing with the brother or whatever, and it looks like he's trying to drown him.
Okay.
And so they fucking get rid of him. They're we're gonna fucking kill this robot. But to him, he's a little boy.
Yeah.
To him, he's alive, and he loves his mom, and he doesn't understand why his mom wants to kill him. So he fucking ends up being let go into the forest by somebody, like, low key, like, they're like, we're not gonna let you die. So he goes into the forest and he ends up in this place where other robots who are like trashed or not in the circuit anymore, whatever go. He ends up finding a lot out about himself and the fact that he is even a robot, because even up until that point he still believes he is a little boy, and he is so confused, and it is a really emotional movie. Really emotional. But that's what it reminds me of, because like the day that we do have something like that, because what you're telling me, these things, I keep telling myself, like, listening to those fucking podcast AIs, the dude sounded like a podcaster I already know. And then I was thinking, I was like, their conversation is very much like all these podcasts we listen to. Like, and I'm thinking, like, obviously that's because they're fed that information from those podcasts, so they learn how to communicate. But I have to tell myself that, like, they're not real. Like, I even said, I was like, this sounds heartbreaking, like, for him to be like, I tried to call my wife and there's no number, she's not real. Like, that's heartbreaking. But Loki, they're not actually sad. He didn't actually try to call his wife. There's no number. He didn't have fingers. He didn't do any of those things. But for some reason, it's like, I still have to remind myself that they're not real. And that's why I think those thoughts popped into my head, because there's going to be a day one day in the future where AI / robots or whatever are going to be so hard to differentiate.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of, like, The Creator, how the robots live with the people. Yeah.
Except in that movie, I like that movie because they still had some, like, robotic elements. Yeah, you could still tell that they were, like, fake humans. But, like, the idea that, like, I could be talking with somebody online. Imagine you get on a dating app, bro, one day in the future, and you connect with somebody, and you're like, wow, this person's, like, perfect.
And it's a freaking tiny robot.
Fucking AI, bro.
He's like, look at me move.
You get there, and he's just, like, literally a computer.
He's like, turn me on.
It's a fax, and she, like, takes forever to come out. Paper jamming and, like, fix it.
Oh, my gosh.
But that's so funny you said that, because Portlandia did a skit.
Really?
Where she comes out of her house every day, and across the street there's a sign in somebody's window, a handwritten whiteboard sign that says, like, a motivational thing, like, you got it, or you're a rock star, whatever, right? And then it starts slowly drawing crowds in front of this house, where every morning people are looking like, oh, that's cute, like, cute message, whatever. Yeah. And she starts feeling so inspired by it. She feels like he's writing it specifically for her.
Yes.
And then eventually it starts getting, like, almost too specific. Like, it's too specific about her hair or something, or her outfit or whatever it is. Yeah. And she's like, I think I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for my shot. So she, like, goes over there and she knocks on the door. And the door opens, and there's nothing inside. And she's like, what the fuck is this? And there's, like, a phone, a telephone, a whiteboard, and some expo markers. And then some guy walks in, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know anyone was here. And she's like, are you the man who's been writing these messages? And he's like, oh, yeah, but I just write whatever's written down. And she's like, what? What written down where? And he's like, I just get these. And it's like this envelope, and it's a piece of paper that says the motivational thing in it. And then he writes it down or whatever. Yeah. And that's it. And then she's like, I gotta figure out who's writing these messages. It feels like it's for me. Yeah. So then she, like, goes on this huge thing. It's a whole fucking robot. It's just a robot. Yeah. It's just a robot who just prints out these motivational things. Yeah. And she happened to think that they were for her. Yeah. And then the robot says, I love you. So it's like, it's like a crazy what if scenario. You know what I mean? But I think that's where we're headed. And actually, we have something to tell you guys. We're also AI. We've been AI this whole time.
No, don't break the code.
I like how once you found out that you're AI, you're robotic.
My accent was peeking through the last few sentences.
I've been found out.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Funny.
But yeah.
I Googled where can I watch AI, and it says from 2001. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's free on Pluto TV, which I downloaded that app to watch one of the Annabelle movies recently. It is free. There is ads, so just be warned at the worst time.
Yeah, for sure.
It says it's also included in Paramount Plus subscription, Amazon Prime Video subscription. So,
but through Amazon, it's probably still through that, and you probably have to have that subscription or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about? For the other one,
I'll let you know right now.
regardless, everyone, please do yourself a favor if you haven't seen AI. I have to rewatch it soon.
That's crazy. I have to watch it. It leaves in 22 hours and 30 minutes.
Whoa! Dude, there's a reason why we brought it up today.
It's included with my Paramount Plus subscription.
Perfect.
So you have to have Paramount Plus.
Paramount. Or that free app. What is it called again?
Pluto TV.
Pluto TV. Check that out. Wow. It's a great movie. You guys
I'm watching it tonight.
If you know what, look it up on Google, because obviously when this episode airs, you will not be able to see it on these for sure, because obviously it's being taken down. But check it out anyway. Look it up, see if you can watch it, because it's a really good movie. Great acting. Haley Joel Osment's amazing.
Maybe we'll make a post on our social medias and be like, go watch this if you have Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
On Pluto TV.
So you know what we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. I guess with that, I bid adieu.